Hi, and welcome everyone once again to another Atos Smart Manufacturing Fireside Chat Humanity series. This is already episode 2 of it because we got so great feedback after our first Humanity series sessions. So I'm very happy. Today, we also have another special guest, which will be mostly interviewed by Robert, because today we're going to talk about things of the unforeseen, things you cannot really prepare yourself for. You might have heard for it, but it's totally different if it strikes you. And no, I'm not talking about COVID. We all know that we all had to deal with it starting like one day after the other. It's something that really goes on your personal life and changes everything. How to tackle things, how to see things, how to move forward and motivate yourself. But again, I'm not the one talking about that. So it's my absolute pleasure to welcome Robert Kramer, Global Head of Manufacturing Marketing with me. And Robert, it's so great to have you here. Hello.
Oh, I love being here, Frizzo, and just another opportunity to be in the studio with you and to talk to our peers and discuss what's on their mind is a fantastic platform for us all.
Right. Thank you for being with us again. And we have our special guest, and I'm so happy she is with us today. It's Ruthie Stribling, Client Stories Content COE Lead. Hi, Ruthie. Hi. Thank you so much for joining our session today. Hi.
Thanks for asking me. I'm happy to be here too.
It's great. And yeah, we were talking about like, how will this work out? If we're going on a panel, if we like sharing stories on different ways, not just very business related, but on the other hand, everything we encounter in our private life also reflects in our business and the opposite around. And I think that's also something we want to talk about right now. And Robert, I would like to hand over to you and start asking and talking with Ruthie.
Ruthie, it's a pleasure to see you. I remember we probably met like 3 years ago, and I was working on the North America team, and I remember the first time I heard your voice. I'm like, God, she is so smart and so charismatic. I was like, she just struck me as an amazing woman. And then I was in Dallas, and we got to go out to lunch, and I got to meet you in person, and further impressed. So. It's so great to have you here, and it was a pleasure to work with you for the time that I did, and continuing on where we're both at now. But so kind of maybe talk a little bit about how long you've been with Atos and, what you're doing now, and walk us through that if you don't mind.
All righty. Yeah, when we first met, did you ever imagine where we'd be today?
Never. I mean, it's been a journey. We all have these amazing life journeys, and it's fantastic that we're at this point now, and we've both reached the different pinnacles. But what do you think?
Well, okay, I'll answer your question. I think I have the best job at Atos. You might argue.
Frizzo might do as well.
Yeah. Okay, it's relative.
Looks like a cool cat
right
right there.
For me
yes,
at Atos. I started about 4 years ago, just maybe a year before we met. And I was a content marketing manager for the North America region. I was doing a lot of writing, editing, and administrative tasks. It's really all I know how to do, and it's all I've ever done. So that's my secret.
Where did that come from, like that background?
I always had a knack for writing, and I realized that I was okay at it when I was in school. So I pursued that, and found myself lucking out at every turn, going into marketing. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so 4 years ago you joined, and then walk us through, and then you pivoted after a certain amount of time into a different position.
Yeah. So wow, 4 years. It feels like I've been off work half that time now. But last year, while I was out, I was reorganized into the global organization. I had been in North America, and while I was out, they moved me to the global organization where Now I'm co-managing the Global Client Stories program, and I provide a lot of editorial support for the external content. It's great because I'm a native English speaking writer, and the official language of Atos happens to be U.S. English.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel valuable. It's so rewarding in my own
Very
way.
valuable, and you were very valuable the whole time you've been here. And that's the first time I met you. I was very excited, and Frizzo's smiling there. I think he kind of agrees.
Oh yeah, I am smiling because it's like when you say that, I thought I'm somehow good at it or something. I just remember some of the works also, like in the calls we joined together, me being part of the Markham team, and I was like, that's not just content, it's a story. It feels alive, and that's a huge difference. If you read something which is business related, which is like a real storyline that gets you through, that's like tangible, that you can understand, and not just like nice buzzwords put together, so that makes up a great content block of 250 words. So I really have to say that, and that's just like those little parts I have read, and I can say that.
Absolutely.
You guys are too generous. Thank you.
So, you've been here for 4 years, and you've had some personal hardships, and I know it's been trying on you in many ways, and we wanted to maybe talk about that just for a little bit, if you don't mind, and maybe walk us through maybe that personal hardship and how it's affected you, if you don't.
I don't like to call it a hardship. I know where you're going. And so in 2019, I found out I had breast cancer. And so my mother had survived it somehow before she actually got sick with it. But it had killed 3 of her sisters. And so I thought I knew about it. I thought, yeah, I was kind of half expecting it, but it skipped over all of my aunt's children's and all of my siblings, my cousins and my siblings, and found me. And no matter how prepared you think you are, for me, I thought I was, but I wasn't. I didn't know anything about what it was really like. It was so, that was kind of a wake-up call, and shocking and stunning, and just like big news, and everything else stops. So the doctors said that my kind of cancer used to be a death sentence even 15 years ago. There's one drug now called Herceptin. I think I'm going to get a tattoo that says "I heart Herceptin." I really want that. So that's the one drug now that usually works on this kind of cancer.
That's fantastic.
In the beginning of 2020, treatment started with 6 rounds of chemotherapy. And if you're not familiar, chemotherapy is kind of cyclical. It starts with an infusion where I'd spend a day getting a bunch of strong drugs. They called it a regimen. And one of them was Herceptins. And I still have a scar. They implanted a port up here to put for the drugs because they were too strong for the IV in a vein. So I'd spend a day getting infusions, and then somebody would drive me home, usually my son, one of my sons. My sister went with me one time. But because of COVID, then they stopped allowing people to go with me. So I was kind of all alone, me and Candy Crush getting infused. So I'd go home, and for a week or 2, I'd just take nausea drugs and sleep.
How long were your infusions and your chemo? How long did that last from start to where you're at?
I know it was better? 6 rounds. You mean for each infusion? It took a couple of weeks, and then when you start feeling better, it's time to have the next infusion, and then it knocks you back down. So it's like 6 treatments, and it was about 3 weeks. I think it was around 5 or 6 months of that. And then after that, the surgeons removed all of the affected tissue and lymph nodes, and they had it biopsied, and they found out that the cancer was gone. So that was so
Well, absolutely
totally awesome. But just in case, they had to do 6 weeks of daily radiation treatments. I got weekends off. That was cool. The doctor said a lot of people actually go back to work during radiation. So I figured I could too, but with hindsight, I think I'd like to meet those people and tell them they're crazy. I don't know if I would do that again.
So how much time were you off work? Because it sounds like every bit was needed.
That was about 6 months, and then the rest of last year, I had an irregular schedule. Actually, since then, my schedule has been kind of irregular. I was half-time for a little while. This year has been about reconstruction, and I've had surgeries every 3 months. So every 3 months, one of the surgeries took 8 weeks of recovery time. So I feel like I'm not the most reliable, but every manager I talk to about it tells me, don't even think about work. You're fine. Just do what you have to do, and we'll be here when you come back.
That's so special.
It's been such a blessing.
How did this affect your outlook on life, like with your family and your friends and your coworkers and your ambitions and what you like to do? You overcome a lot of challenges, and this had to segue into those different things.
So one of the biggest things that struck me during treatment was how many people reached out. I've always had a policy that, I don't reject love. I feel like it's just wrong, and we can talk about that later. But now so many people reached out and told me if either they had cancer or they know someone who did, a loved one did, it was kind of overwhelming, that extensions of love and support from people I didn't even know, from people I did know. So now that I'm every once in a while I'm over treatment before I have to go back. That's all I see is love and support from everyone at work, in the grocery stores.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. So as a result, I'm more appreciative and open and honest, because like I said, no matter who I talk to, they know someone or they've been through something similar, and it's a big thing to go through. It's like everybody was in a secret club and now I'm in. So I see everyone as a friend, and I approach them, with more of an open heart, because
that's so sweet.
We're all kind of the same.
How does it feel to have that sense of achievement? I mean, that you've done this and you've overcome some amazing challenge that you wouldn't wish on anybody.
I don't see it like that. I don't feel like it's ever over. Like it's always a possibility that it might come back. It's very small because of all of the, the treatment approach. But yeah, I don't see it like that. I see my time off as I slept through most of it and played Candy Crush and binge watched. I don't think they call it TV anymore, but shows. So yeah, I don't really see it as a big accomplishment. It's something that everybody else had to have patience with while I was sleeping.
Well, it sounds like your mindset was in a specific order, in a way. Did you adjust when you knew that you had to go through this? Is there something that you prepared yourself for that allowed you to kind of handle it the way that you are?
I don't think so. All I did was, follow my doctor's instructions. Because I guess I realized, even with the strong family history that I had, that I didn't know how to do it. And I just trusted the experts. I found the doctors. I took a long time to find doctors I was comfortable with who had a lot of experience. And I just, I gave up and did what they said.
Okay. So you were just like building trust up on the process itself. Is that something you say in a way to say like, okay, you have to deal with, because when you talk about what happened, you're just like so calm and relaxed and just like very, very, just like, okay, well, this is something you have to tackle. This is something you have to do. There are the processes you have to follow. And when I hear that, I think about like, how could I motivate myself? You mentioned like after every treatment, it totally took you down. Yeah. And then as soon as you went up, you say, oh, now I'm going for another treatment that will just like put me down again. And it's like, you say, wow, it's not a big accomplishment when I slept. It's like, no, for me, it's a huge effort of motivating myself. That's just like what I think. But you're so calm in a way where it's just like, okay, right. That's the right mindset to not freak out, just like let it go in a way.
I don't think freaking out ever helps anything. I used to tell my kids that. But what are your choices, Friso? You can get treatment, or you can likely die a horrible, miserable death, or you can wake up and go do what the doctors say and have better chances.
So there's a lot of resilience, right? No, you're right. It's a lot of resilience in yourself, how to deal with that. But even having no option and saying, okay, I'm going for option E because B is not an option, takes quite some strength, because you know what is coming there. You know what's like after the first, second, and third treatments. It's like you know what will come over the next couple of days. So it's not you say, oh well, I just chose option A and that's it. It's staying strong, or
taking the drugs. Take the drugs and sleep.
I mean, you had
tough, I go to sleep.
You knew you had to climb this hill, and you knew that there was nothing left else to do except do it.
Everything else was removed.
Yeah, I have a lot of people that are close to me that have gone through something similar, and they've all handled it quite different. Specifically, my mom's been through 4 episodes of cancer and still taking pretty good. But as she prepares for things, it's challenging. And but when you go through it, your mindset seems very, very strong. Some people that I've known, each infusion was a really challenge, and they didn't see it as well as you are. And I'm very it's fantastic. And so when you look at this and you see other people that have to go through this and will go through this, how do you address, what their questions would be or advice to them? Because it's hard. And I think, and I also, before you answer that, everybody's personality is different.
Yeah.
Everybody looks at life different. I think maturity is a huge thing in life. And as you grow and get older, you look at life a little different, how you're going to adjust and make things, a big deal or not a big deal, and or how to smooth through them. So how do you address people who are going to go through this? What would you tell
them? I think thinking about, our discussion so far, I think one of the things maybe I didn't say is that my family is really close and I've had a lot of support. And then, walking through the grocery store bald with a bandana over my head, people would come and ask me if I had cancer and offer to help. It's sometimes awkward, but now my support network was almost everyone. But if you don't have an immediate support network, ask for help. There's the cancer community has so many organizations. Their sole purpose is to help people. And I never even went through the Komen Foundation, but because I didn't need to, I found other search results. I did a lot of searching and asked my doctors that I found lots of organizations to help with expenses, everything from expenses, paying for co-pays, paying for lodging for surgeries if you have to travel. And then there were other organizations that would help with laundry or daily tasks. But there's help available. You just have to ask for it, look for it, and ask your doctors. They probably know some of them. And then once you find them, you have to use them. Sometimes there's a little process, but it's worth it because you can't do it by yourself. You can't sleep and play Candy Crush if you have to do laundry and go get your groceries and mow your yard.
And what about your mindset? Like, how did you advise someone to prepare themselves for something like this? Because yours is very strong, and some people's are not as strong as that.
I don't know. No one's ever really asked me. My phone is going off. Can you hear that? Maybe we need a break.
We can pause for a second.
Okay, I need to silence it.
I thought it was yours, so I muted you, Robert. So
I know you guys always think it's me.
Yeah, no, it's like
My dogs are sitting down.
Well, no, it wasn't me, so I thought it has to be you. You know, it's like
surely it wasn't me.
Yeah, I like the music though. It's like, what is that? Celebration?
No,
Cool
it's Cool in the Gang. Yeah.
Okay.
It's,
so I like Cool in the Gang.
A different song.
That's right.
Me too.
All right, so let's pick up the last question here.
Okay.
We can re-ask it again. And so if you were going to provide some advice for someone who's just getting started with their journey, their challenge that's upon them, and they're not as strong as you are, how would you provide them some insight on how to prepare their mind?
That's a really hard question. That's a good question, I should say.
Start with the doctors. I mean, is that the foundation, and to make sure you have some stability,
that was
family?
My first priority was to look for doctors who I felt comfortable with and who I trusted. I probably talked to a dozen doctors there's doctors for everything, the primary oncologists, the surgeons, the radiation oncologists. So I found some I liked. I found a lot I didn't like, who felt comfortable and were super optimistic. So I found them, and I did what they said. It's not something I could do by myself, So I found experts and trusted them.
That's a great starting point. That's what you would start with, and your family sounds like they've been absolutely instrumental in your just on every level, support, and on your mindset though just seems like amazingly strong. Would you tell someone to do something unique for their mind, to really look at the big picture, to look at the finish line, try and be open, and what would you suggest?
You could say my mind is open, or you could say it's empty. Lots of room in there.
How about brilliant as well?
Oh, thank you. But maybe it probably helps to remove all of the noise and focus on you. Put your energy into you, what you need, because you need it. It's a huge task that your body's going through chemo. The goal of chemo is to kill all of the cells that reproduce quickly. So that's a lot. That's a lot of cells, and your body's going through a lot, and you need all the energy you can get. So don't waste it on, I don't know, trivial stuff, family drama, or arguments, or I couldn't even do social media. I stayed away from social media. It's just too emotional and too draining. Candy Crush was much better.
So staying focused and not losing energy. So getting rid of anything that drains your energy. Is
Yeah, I
that what
think
you're saying? The
so.
one thing? Okay.
Yeah, and I still do that. I still have to manage where I put my energy.
Right. That's what I would have asked like next. So what has changed? So what is a takeaway for the future years to come? How does it change your life in a way? Are you now living different, like in self-awareness, in taking care of yourself, in
Yeah.
consuming? Yeah.
I'm still not doing as much as I should, but a big part of recovery and the period after the active treatment is over is you need to be in excellent physical shape because that it's a matter of energy again, part of it.
Right.
In my simplified view of things, being in good shape and being physically fit, it gives you more energy and helps your body fight off bad stuff. So I guess it helps your immune system and lots of other things. Some of the chemo drugs affect your heart. I think maybe Herceptin is the one that also damages your heart. So you have to do cardio, and the radiation affects the muscles. They're so sore and stiff. So, you have to work out and build the muscles back. And that's part of it. So physical fitness and diet and exercise. I'm still working on that.
Has it also changed your view on life in total, like how you see things, how you value things, how you value situations come together, emotional or not, family time? Is there also something where you say, well, for me, that was normal, and now that's something special?
I think, Frieza, everything is special now.
Right.
I value everything. I cherish everything. Like going for a walk with my partner, I really appreciate, the ability to walk, first of all.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, the birds in the sky, the attention and the time, everything is just precious. I value every relationship. I don't always have time to reciprocate, and I feel guilty that I can't just always hug everyone and spend the time I want to with everyone who's been there for me. But I cherish every interaction now, and I go into every interaction more open with everyone.
So openness and open mindsets and an open position to what to do with it, an open position also for your mindset to look at things. That's sort of a baseline, what comes out like when you are talking. And I think that's also just like a part of your personality, that you are very open-minded and open-hearted, and you just deal with that also in that way. And I think maybe what I hear is that also that bottom line was also keeping up your energy and made it possible to accept things normally you want to neglect and deal with things and just like cherish it. As you say, just walking, which is like normal for everyone. You are just going for a walk, but it's something special, and having that again. Oh, well, thank you for sharing this, because I was really wondering, it's like, okay, how do you react, but how does it change your life? Is it like, in a way, and you brought that to me. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it also, in summary, Frizzo and Ruthie, it shows the value of life, right? And the priorities in life, and we always talk about, work and in our positions, as you mentioned at the beginning, and our positions we all are very fond of them, but the life is obviously at a much higher level. And listening to you today just obviously just shows that at a massive level, and the family, and the support, they're just, we all want that in life, and then that will cease to be a key to what you that got you to where you are today. And but the stories even about the grocery store and the people that were there for you, I mean, I admire that. And it was quite a journey, and we're so happy that you're here and can talk to us, but that you're here and doing very well. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
having
you
me.
so
Thank you
much.
for inviting me. I hope anything I said helps other people. Truly, truly.
Well, I think it does for sure. I think you gave so many people a real option how to look at things, how to deal with things, and how to tackle things, and now also how to cherish it. That's absolutely great, and I want to thank you for this. It's really been a pleasure that you came up and speaking so openly on things you normally might have heard of. Yeah, but it's always something special to share a personal story so open with the community and also what they could take away. Thank you so much, Ruthie, for this.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you, Frizzo. Thank you, Ruthie.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for being with us. And I'm now just going for another quick round. Thank you again. Thank you for being with us for this other Atos Smart Manufacturing Fireside Chat.